So let's talk about plaque psoriasis a little bit. Once you know you have plaque psoriasis and have been diagnosed, one of the key things to understand is the inflammation cycle and how it looks on your skin. You can pay attention to your skin and you can learn everything about what you need to know. We'll talk about causes of plaque psoriasis later, but suffice it to say that there is something that causes it. It's not a random event. So when you have a trigger or something that is causing your plaque, what happens is you get all the blood vessel or the blood flooding into this area to attack an antigen, and that creates swelling. And so you'll get elevation of the skin, and you will also get a lot of redness. That's the classic sign that you're having an active inflammatory event. And so as it keeps happening, it gets more uncomfortable, and it actually will start to bleed if it continues to go. The plaque will get bigger and bigger, wider, and it will get taller. That's when you know you're in very, very active stage. That can be a very uncomfortable stage. So it's not ideal, but that's good for you to know what's exactly happening. All right, now let's assume that the inflammation trigger is gone. Here's how your plaque starts to heal. The very first thing it does, if it's flaking but you're bleeding, you're still in active inflammation. But once you start to get very big flakes, and no bleeding, then you know you're in the very first stages of healing. Sometimes the flakes will be as big as the plaque. I mean, these are very visible ones. It's not unusual to have one that's maybe half the size of a dime. I mean, these can be pretty big flakes. They don't hurt at all. In fact, they feel kind of nice to peel off. If you go into a jacuzzi, they'll get moist, and with a towel you can just easily peel them off. So that's a good way to do it. Then as your healing continues, what's going to happen is the size of the flakes will go from these very big flakes. Then the next time they peel off a few days later will be smaller, I'll call it medium size. Then the next time they peel off, they'll be actually kind of small. This is good. This is the first time that people aren't going to see the big flakes on you. They might even, unfortunately, there's still going to be a lot of them, but they're going to get smaller and smaller and smaller until people stop seeing them. That's really exciting. So the size of the flake is a really good clue as to where you are in your healing cycle. The second really key thing to see is the plaque itself. When it starts to heal, what's going to happen is the first thing is the redness and thickness of it will decrease. So its height will shrink just a little bit, and its redness will shrink just a little bit, which is good. That says that's the beginning stages. That's kind of that stage when you can peel big chunks off. And then as smaller and smaller chunks are peeled off, what's going to happen is, believe it or not, your plaque will actually get wider. It will spread. What's happening is all the blood vessels and the immune system inside that plaque area are actually starting to leave and to move out, and so the thickness shrinks. From there, a really exciting thing happens. It looks kind of ugly, but it's very exciting to me, which is you start to form islands in that plaque. Meaning, it's not that new areas pop up, it's that large areas of that plaque start to shrink and go back to normal and will actually look normal. And so it looks like your one big plaque has broken up into 6 islands or multiple islands. That's a great thing, because you're advanced in your healing cycle. And so that's good. Eventually what will happen is, if you continue to go without antigens attacking something, those little islands will flatten out more and will eventually disappear. That's when you know your plaque is gone, at least for that particular plaque. There are spots of your body that are a little bit more resilient, And so the kind of the third way you know about how your plaque is healing is look at where you have your spots. They typically stay in the same areas. As the number of spots shrinks, your plaque is healing. And eventually what happens is you have your most resilient spots. Mine happens to be my hair. Your most resilient spots will be the very last ones to go. So you actually can get rid of plaque psoriasis. It's not necessarily easy, but learning how to read yourself and learning how to read the cues is the first thing, because that's how you know to teach yourself what is happening. If you can learn to read your skin, you can learn to figure out what is triggering you and then stop having those triggers. I hope this helps. See you soon.